It was a random Thursday when I didn't think anything would really happen. I got ready like usual and left the house at the same time I do every day. After arriving exactly a couple of minutes before class started, I parked my bike in the parking lot and walked to the campus grounds. To get there, I have to cross a street between the campus grounds and the parking lot, and now that I think about it, I didn't see anyone else, though it's supposed to be morning class hours. The street was not empty, but there were not many vehicles passing either. It was a normal Thursday, and I didn't bring my umbrella. It was raining hard. My class was quite far from the entrance, and I didn't notice the cloudy weather until the first droplet touched my cheek. I immediately ran to the nearest building, and when I looked around, I didn't see anyone still. The morning was dark, but the lights in the halls were still off. I guess no one in particular predicted the weather would be this bad, and the staff were not here yet, trapped in the rain somewhere on their way to the campus. So I waited. Rain usually doesn't stop people from running to their classes, but I waited in an empty, dark hallway until it had stopped raining, even for a short time, to run to the building where my class is. Well, until then, I looked out at the rain and at the other buildings, and yet I still didn't see anyone with an umbrella or running through the rain with a backpack above their head. It was funny though. I did also take shelter myself, and everyone seemed to be doing the same thing. So I waited. I looked around to find myself some entertainment, and I was just about to close my eyes when a cat ran through the rain. It was a white cat. Her eyes were red and her fur was wet. She stopped at the hallway I was in, seemingly unaware of another being, and shook her body to release the water from her fur. She continued her grooming session, licking her paws and brushing them to her ears repeatedly. Then, until she looked up to scratch her ears, that our eyes met. Her pupils sharpened, her body went rigid, and she slowly put down her hind leg. Maybe the scratching session could wait when there's a giant looking at my way and I didn't know what she would do if I were her. I heard that other animals interpret staring at you and showing you their teeth is an act of aggression, though cats usually stare into each other's eyes 1 millimeter away from each other if there were a fight. But still, I turned my head away and stared at the rain instead. The rain stared back at me, falling harshly to the ground, minute by minute. It seems that it won't stop anytime soon. Curious, I looked at the cat once again, and she still had her eyes on me. Should I keep staring? I was scared she might attack me for it. So I looked away and continued watching the rain. I knew at the time that I wasn't able to get to my class. While I didn't really think much about it, my legs started tingling from standing for longer than I anticipated. The longer I waited, the longer I felt like waiting for the rain was the wrong decision to make. I also felt a weird sensation on the left side of my head. It seemed that the cat had been staring at me still. But to my surprise, when I looked to my left, there was nothing. The cat was no longer there, as if she hadn't been there in the first place. I thought she scurried away because her intuition said I wasn't nice enough to be around. Regardless, loneliness suddenly crept in, drowning the sounds of rain. I stared at the empty spot. My eyes were sure that was where the cat was cleaning herself, and stared back at me. But the spot was spotless. No water poured anywhere, despite the heavy rain. The uncomfortable thought crept something in me that I suddenly had the urge to look down. My white shoes were not in the best state, but there wasn't any cold, wet sensation from them either. I wasn't exactly standing away from the rain. I didn't want to be away from the light. Oh, right, the light. I wanted to check whether the light was turned on yet deep in the hallway, so I stood up and turned around. It was still dark, but I come to realize that the hallways, though lacking in lighting, would never be that dark. You see, the hallways connect one class to another, but it is an open space with a small garden in the middle. As dark as a morning rain, it won't be as dark as what I was currently staring at. It was pitch black. Not a single ray of light entered from the other side. I looked down where my shadow stopped off the nearest pillar's shadow. Am I just imagining things? Something moved on the peripheral vision on my right. I decided to turn around, walking into the rain. The class was cold, despite the lack of an air conditioner. The students always complained about that. The lights were on, but it seems that the class was already over. I closed the door behind me and took a seat near the door. I was wet head to toe from running through the heavy rain. To be honest, I didn't think it through. I opened my bag to find my books and pencil case. Thankfully, they were dry. I know hugging my backpack on my way to class was the right choice. It was supposed to be about a 3-hour class, and here I was, scribbling in my book, looking for a way to pass the time until my next class. The sound of the silent noise from the classroom on my left, the rain, and the cold. I looked at the clock that I drew for no reason. It seems that I drew it with a red pen, but it didn't have the minute hand yet. I reached down on my pencil case and tried to find my red pen. What a luck. Or more like, what an error. I heard a silent tap, and it all turned dark. Suddenly, all I was hearing was a ringing noise, my eyes catching nothing but an endless split of black with spotches of grey here and there. The rain had stopped. The class on my left had ended. Pitch black. Okay, let's repeat. It It turns too dark for my liking. I blink my eyes a couple of times to adapt to my bedroom's minimal lighting. I can see my cat is sleeping on her pillows, her back facing me. I take a deep breath as I can slowly feel my hands and legs again. I tilt my head, trying to figure out the hands of the clock on the wall, and it turns out it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I guess sleeping is no longer an option now.